one more thing about the tactics. When you use tactic, you put the tactic on the on space, and you have to move this marker on the track, and every time you use a tactic you move it another time, and when it's at the top and it will push to the top, the moral will drop, as you can see here, because you used it too many times. The team gets bored. This is the league points track, so every time you win you get 3 points, every time you draw 1. And of course these are your players. Every one in the field is still a player, but it's a very mediocre player, but you can use it and use these cubes to select your players in the team. You can make a 4-4-2, for example. So these are in the game. There are attacking players and there are defending players. I won't explain how the game works, but it's a short match, and you use, of course, the opponent cards to see which team won. I think this is not a very clear one. I can show you here. So this is quite a strong team for a Division 3 team. You can see here this team plays in Division 2 and 3. So this is Division 3 scenario. So you can use this club. There's always another combination of opponents. So you won't, of course, you'll meet some of the same clubs, but there's always a little difference. This is a very strong team. Sometimes you have scouts. This one can't. This is a scout. This one can't, but some of the scouts can watch opponents, and then you can take a look at the back of the card. For example, this one. This team has some good players. Bigger clubs are particularly interested in a talented goal getter of the team. Our chances are in the midfield. They play 4-2-4. So in this case, you know a lot about your opponent before you play it. So you put it here, and you know you have some information about the team, and you can adapt to that if you like. Some of the scouts can also watch players, like this one. Watch a listed player. Yes, watch a listed player. All the players have these tokens on them, and if you attract a player from the transfer market, you'll get one of these tokens with them, and you put it directly on the player. But you don't know what the value of the tokens is. For example, I took a 1 now. That's very bad, because my bad normal players are also at 1. So it won't help if I buy a player and it has the value of 1. So some of the scouts can watch players, and this one can. And watching players means that you can flip 2 of the chips and put 1 back. Of course, this is a 3. I only look at the black ones at first. So I'll put the 2 back and I'll flip this one. So this one stays here, and every time I attract a player and it works, I put it in play and can choose any chip I like. And of course I'll take this one because 3 is a high value, 4 is the highest. At some point in the game you can also level up your players. After a match it can be done. Sometimes players get better. And in that case you take one of these chips. It can also be a flipped one, and put the green value on the player. So this one's now 4. There's also a difference between the players. This one has 3 empty spots. This is a 3-star player. It can be leveled up twice, and some can be leveled up only once, and some of the players are not very talented and cannot be leveled up. So you need to get this player as a good one immediately. If you want to attract players or staff or sponsors, you use the white dice, which are left because I already did my board meeting and I used one die. And this is the second phase of the turn. The first turn is the board meeting, and this is the second turn. For example, if I want this sponsor, you see in the upper left right corner, you see a symbol. If there's a die, it's a simple action. You only put one die on the first space of your schedule, and it's your sponsor now. And you see 3 different options, and there's only one option possible with this People's New sponsor, and that's the first one. The last one is a shirt sponsor. If there were symbols, it would like to be a shirt sponsor. This is an ad board, and this is a small sponsor. You know, the little boards when there are some player interviews after the match. So you can have endless sponsors, endless small sponsors, but you can only have a few ad boards and one shirt sponsor. That's on the scenario part as well. So if I had an ad board, I'll take a card and I put a cube here, the second one here, third one there, so I can only have 3 ad boards and 1 shirt sponsor, but I can have a lot of small sponsors. So this would give me +1 on my weekly income and a -1 on my moral. So if I wanted this one, I'll take it, put another card in its place, put the cube there because of the black symbol. So it's mine, and I'll put this one up, this one lower, and it's mine. There are also other symbols. If I'd like to have this assistant coach, there's a test here, so I have to roll for it. This one will only come to my club if he thinks my popularity is good enough. So I have to do a popularity test. I have to throw a die or more if I like. But in my example, my popularity is 6, so I have to throw a 6 or lower, so it will work, of course, and he will come to my club. I have to pay 2 coins for him. But let's say it was here, a 3 or lower, I had to roll. My club is not that popular, so the chance that he comes is not very big, it's 50%. So I could add an extra die, so my chances are bigger. For example, in this case, I rolled a 2 and a 5, so the 2 will work, the 6 won't, but I only have to have 1 die that'll work. So this one goes to my club, I pay the money, and it's mine. You can see there are 2 different actions on staff members. Sometimes there's 3, sometimes there's only 1. But the first one is the level it comes in. So I can, for free, there's a 0 in it, I can level up a coach. If I level up this staff member, I can send him on a course for 2 coins. I also get this action, and it earns me 1 point. Reroll any red or white die during phases 1 or 2. So that's how staff works, and how a test works. There's also a moral test, a fitness test. Players I can get by rolling the number or higher, which is on the upper right corner. This one is a good one, so it won't necessarily come. It will come when I throw a 5 or higher, but I can put more energy in it by rolling more dice. That's how it works. Instead of rolling 1 or 2 dice, you can also choose to roll no dice and put 3 dice in its place. And in this case, you buy the action, so you don't have to roll. The action immediately works. When I played the match, and for example when I won, I roll the green die. I can add white dice if they are left over from the earlier turns. And I roll the die. In this case, I didn't have any, so I roll the die. And I look at the match consequences. So let's say I won a match. So I look at this row. I won it. I roll a 6. And there are 2 skills here. 2 skills, it says. So 2 of my players get upgraded. So I can take 2 upgrade tokens and put it on my players anywhere I like. So let's take, of course, this one was here. This one was there. It's a bit of a mess now. And let's say I'll upgrade this one. And I'll upgrade that one. Well, the players must have played, of course. So let's say it was like this. And because I upgraded them, I earn a point for every upgrade. And I get a challenge card because they are upgraded. You see, there is a lot of difference between games. If I lose, for example, there is a smaller chance my players get upgraded, but the bad thing about winning is that there's a bigger chance of getting injured. So it's balanced that way. And immediately when you reach the goal, you can earn your points at the manager points track. So let's say I got my 12 points. So I didn't relegate. That will give me 15 points. So I can immediately add those to my score here. And when I contracted my shirt sponsor and my ad boards, I immediately get those points. And of course, when my stadium was sold out 3 times, I earned 7 points. This is the turn track. Every time when there's the word evaluation, you earn points, and the points you earn have to do with the tracks, how high the tracks are. At these points, you also see stars, and these are the points that the opponent teams level up to, so they develop themselves too. It's not only your team that gets stronger, but also your opponents get stronger. You can also play an easy game in which opponent teams do not develop themselves. And at the end of the game, if you reached enough points and the club is satisfied, you win the scenario and you can move on to the second scenario. So in a quick overview, that is Club Stories. Hope you enjoyed it.